Young Sheldon. The 10 Saddest Things About Mary. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Young Sheldon 24. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. While Mary Cooper looks like she has got her life together, some fans may not have noticed the deep insecurities and flaws she tries to hide. Although fans were initially skeptical about young Sheldon, the show has done fairly well since it launched. Despite producing a few inconsistencies as compared to the main show, Young Sheldon provided insight into Sheldon's childhood before he became a Nobel Prize-winning theoretical physicist. Among other things, the show focuses on Sheldon's dynamic with his family, including his mother, father, grandmother, brother, and twin sister. His mother, Mary Cooper, is one of the most loved characters of the show for her sweet demeanor and obvious love for Sheldon. Although the show often offers comic relief, there are some things about it that never fail to pull at the audience's heartstrings. Mary, in particular, is one character that viewers often feel sorry for on account of her unique traits and some of the things she does. Despite having 3 kids, Mary was clearly partial to Sheldon. Given Sheldon's extraordinary mental aptitude and rapid development, it's no surprise he needed more attention than his siblings. While it may have started out as Mary tending to Sheldon's needs, most of the episodes show he was her favorite child. Fans believed Mary and Sheldon's relationship was unhealthy. The show even explored this in the season 4 episode, Training Wheels and an Unleashed Chicken. In the episode, an unfortunate incident with a bicycle and a chicken forces Sheldon and his mother to face the sad reality of their codependent relationship. Mary and her family live quite close to her mother, Connie, who the kids affectionately call Mima. In the 3rd episode of season 4, Mary and Constance have a conversation about children growing up and leaving the nest. The conversation revealed that Mary's siblings had all moved away from home, while she remained close to her mother. Mima even joked about Mary still hanging around her, even though she was fully grown and had her own family. Ironically, an episode in season 1 revealed that Mima begged Mary to come and live nearby so she could be close to her grandkids. Perhaps the over-attachment goes both ways. Mary's siblings, Charlene and Edward, have only been mentioned in passing in the season 1 episode: Cape, Canaveral, Schrodinger's cat, and Cyndi Lauper's hair. The two came up in a conversation between Mary and Mima about how her mother was rarely ever around, and she practically raised her siblings. Despite the implied relationship between Mary and her younger siblings in the past, they are rarely mentioned, and it doesn't seem like there's much of a relationship between them now. In the same episode, Mima mentioned that Mary is the only one of her children who still talks to her. From the first season, Mima's disdain for Mary's husband, George, was obvious. As the show progressed, it revealed that this stemmed from her disappointment at Mary getting pregnant by George while they were still teenagers. Although Mima and George maintained civil interactions, they were often colored by subtle undertones of hostility. Sadly, Mary is always caught in the middle of the feud between her mother and husband. This was especially obvious in the season 1 episode, A Brisket, Voodoo, and a Cannonball Run. George voiced out his offense at being treated like an outsider by Mima, to which she responded with more taunts that only angered George more. Poor Mary was caught in between, trying to keep the peace. The little bits of backstory that the show revealed about Mary's past indicated that she was a wild teenager. Comparing that with the prim and proper woman who admonishes people for swearing at the dinner table calls a lot into question, especially when Mary does or says something that contrasts with her character. In the 2nd episode of season 4, A Docent, a Little Lady, and a Bouncer named Dalton, Mary secretly was watching an R-rated movie, something that's odd for her character. Her son Georgie questioned her about it, making her feel guilty for something she clearly enjoyed. She even explained that it was a guilty pleasure because she wanted to be a good Christian. Like most mothers, Mary was always saddened by her children's woes. Because of his unique character and quirkiness, Sheldon often faced these more than Georgie and Missy. That meant for the majority of the show, Mary would be stressing about Sheldon and whatever he will be going through at the time. One prominent example was in the pilot episode when Sheldon was about to start high school. Throughout the episode, she expressed her concern over how he would manage it, if he would make friends, and how the teachers and students would treat him. Even when Sheldon stopped eating solid foods in Season 1's A Therapist, a comic book, and a breakfast sausage, she blamed herself for it. Unfortunately, not everyone understands Sheldon, including some members of his family. That's why the young boy often gets shunned by adults and his peers alike. Mary always does her best to comfort and support Sheldon, and to most people, this comes off as coddling. Although Sheldon is a good boy in general, his unfiltered honesty often lands him in trouble. Whenever he unknowingly offends someone, Mary is always the one who cleans up the mess and apologizes for his behavior. In the pilot, Sheldon's first day in high school showed him openly questioning his teacher's qualifications, among other things. Naturally, this upset his teachers, and they took their grievances to the principal in the presence of Mary and George. Mary was the only one who stood up for her son and told the staff they didn't have a choice but to put up with Sheldon. Even in the church, Mary often gives apologetic looks to the pastor and other patrons when Sheldon makes remarks bashing Christianity. This continued long into Sheldon's adulthood in The Big Bang Theory, when his friends would enlist Mary's help when Sheldon was being difficult. In every episode of the 4 seasons that have aired so far, Mary worries about something Sheldon-related. This ranges from whether he will any friends, how he will feel about a significant change in his life, and so much more. She often shares her concerns with her husband, who usually brushes her off. Her constant worrying about Sheldon leads to her coddling him and their unhealthy codependent relationship. In Season 1's An Eagle Feather, A String Bean, and An Eskimo, Sheldon's principal suggested a special school for gifted children in Dallas, and at first, Mary was worried about him being away from home at his young age, regardless of the great opportunity it offered him. Mary puts a lot of pressure on herself to be the perfect wife, mother, daughter, and Christian. She's always admonishing her mother, George, Georgie, and Missy for swearing. She works for the church and dedicates a lot of her time doing the Lord's work. Even though the other characters sometimes land themselves in troublesome situations because of their actions, Mary takes it all on her shoulders. As a result, she stresses a lot about what she's doing wrong and how she can improve, and it's quite sad to see her struggle so much with that. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Young Sheldon 24, and stay with us.